Hey everyone, welcome back to my Let's Play of NieR Replicant version 2021. When we last left off, we came to the Forest of Myth, and we had some weirdly bizarre experience where we were like in a dream world. I don't really even know what happened, honestly. Some disease called like the death dream infected this entire village, and they're all like trapped dreaming. But we freed the mayor, who I'm not sure I trust completely, and we're gonna go talk to a couple other villagers and free them. I just want to say real quick, thank you for your continued support of the series. It's doing so well. I hope you guys are having fun with it. I'm having a blast. I actually have well, virtual, but I graduated today, so woo, no more school, oh my god, school. And yeah, it's very exciting, and I am just hyped to get back to this game. So let's go talk to this lady first. I don't know if it's gonna be as involved as that guy's dream was, which, I mean, I'm down for it, but we'll see.
This person must...
It would appear that...
Enter the dream.
Can't say I'm very excited to go back there. That dream world sort of creeps me out.
Same.
Perhaps you should spend less time complaining and more time getting on with the mission.
Yeah.
We're gonna get narrated again. Oh, here we go. I breathe air scented with death and resist the urge to laugh, for I know it will sound like the words of a madman. How long have I been in this fresh hell? Is this poison control? Hello? My box, my prison, is tucked beneath the stairway in the long, unused catacombs of some infinite castle. Outside, I hear the sounds of a funeral dirge that plays without end. Light has no place here. Wind is a forgotten friend. I pray for death to come, but he forsakes me. What the hell is this? Time passes. An eternity slips by in a single tick of the clock. Someone knocks on my prison. Anyone there? I hear an unfamiliar voice say. My savior! I claw at the door of my jail, embedding thick splinters under my ragged nails. I scream for help. I laugh. I sob. Surely this is a product of my addled mind. Surely it cannot be true. Help me, I cry. For the love of all the gods, help me. Impossibly, I hear the sound of a lock being torn out and falling to the floor. Okay. As the door slowly creaks open, I have just enough time to see a silver-haired boy in a floating book before the light pours in. Sighed. My eyes, accustomed to blackness, explode with pain, and I am forced to turn away. Who are you? I asked, shaking hands covering my face. How have you come to this place? I am Grimoire Weiss. This is DarkDives. Long have we been searching for you. Now, come, stand. We shall awaken from this nightmare together. The one known as DarkDives extends his hand and pulls me from the cell. Though my eyes are slow to adjust to freedom, my ears are as keen as ever, and they recognize the staccato sounds of heavy rain. Never thought to hear that again, I whisper. Would that this were not such a terrible storm, said Grimoire Weiss. Look at your feet. I force my eyes open and see water pooling around my ankles and lapping at my shins. Oh god. There's so much of it. Yes, and more comes each moment we delay. If we do not make good our escape, we shall all drown in this castle. We know you are weak, but you are our only hope to survive this place. Time, that long-forgotten friend, made itself known again. I nodded my head and swore to save my rescuers, no matter the cost. The castle catacombs are a maze, twisting upon themselves like the endless entrails of a giant, okay? That's quite the simile. I squint down the dim corridors and proceed north. Oh. I can't press anything. Hello? Did I break the game? Hello? Hello? Oh! At the end of the corridor, I find a row of 20 gorgeous canopied beds resting atop a carpet of velvet. All are covered in a thick layer of dust and cobwebs. Searching for the door to the next room, I come upon a shapeless mass of gray matter. It has been shoved against the side of the wall, and despite my fever, I think I see the outlines of a door just beyond. When I reach out a finger and touch a piece of the mass, it turns to dust and drifts away on the wind. Realization slowly dawns, and I fall to my knees and weep. Corpses. I face a mountain of charred and crumbling corpses. I look from it to the beds and back again until the horror dawns full upon me. Someone has piled these bodies into a tower and set them ablaze. Oh my god. Whether they were alive or dead, I do not know, and sanity will not permit me to consider the proposition further. I make a sound, whether scream or laughter I cannot be certain. Then my mind grants me merciful blackness, and I find myself opening the door and leaving that most terrible of rooms. This is like one of those books they make you read in English class, where it's like, okay, alright, what's the metaphor here, you know? I squint down the dim corridors and, isn't south back where I came? East? And proceed north? And, east? At the end of the path, I find myself in a great hall with only the sounds of rain for comfort. The waterlogged red carpet squishes beneath my feet as I approach the center of the room. Once there, I behold a beautiful dining table upon which rests china and silver of the finest construction, as well as the remains of a fantastic feast. As my eyes continue to adjust, I see many chairs surrounding the table, each holding a dinner guest. Okay. Noticing movement, I approach the chair at the table's head, but as the truth of the matter dawns on me, I recoil in horror. The host of the feast is a corpse, as are all the invited guests. An army of foul, wriggling insects have made homes in their remains, and this is the movement I saw. What the heck is this person dreaming about? This one splendid feast was now nothing more than a requiem for the damned. I take a moment to steady my shaking hands, then slowly back away from the table. Desperate to lose sight of the abomination before me, my gaze lands on the chairs upon which the dead were seated. This is a mistake, for the chairs proved to be even more terrible than the feast itself. Each one is covered in a layer of spikes that run from the seat up the back and down the arms. This explains the color of the carpet beneath my feet. I can only pray that the unfortunate diners were dead when the meal began. For if not, it is a simple task to envision the agonized screams that must have sprung forth from their mouths. Okay, my mind grasps frantically at the possibility that these souls had committed some terrible crime for which this was their punishment. Though in truth, I suspect they had committed no crime at all. There would be no tomorrow for these unfortunates. This was their last supper. I squint down the dim corridors and proceed north. Against all hope, we make it to the front door. Oh, thank God. Bring it down, someone cries, and so I give myself to the effort. In tandem with Darkslia and Grimoire Vice, I slam my body against the thick, sturdy door. On the third try, it gives way, and we find ourselves sprawled on the ground outside the castle. The storm is in retreat. The clouds above are still dark and foreboding, but to the west I can see a thin shimmer of sunlight trying to break through. How can I thank you? I cry as tears join the rain on my cheeks. I would surely have died in there. Looking down, I suddenly notice that my dress is in tatters and sheepishly try to cover my exposed skin. Your dress? Asks Vice. Then you are a woman, madame. Jeez. I am? I proffer the two a smile. That's a weird word. I suppose that comes as something of a surprise, seeing as how I exist only in the form of words. Oh my god, this game is so weird. I can see that the one known as Darkslia is disappointed that the torn dress will be given no further description, but he hides it well. With a nod and a shrug, three of us set forth to our awakening. But behind us, an awakening of another kind is taking place. Black smoke fills the abandoned castle, providing the countless damned souls inside with their final shroud. After a moment, the castle's windows shatter with a mighty roar. A fresh breeze blows through the hallways and corridors, clearing the smoke away for good. As we watch in awe, uncountable black shadows slowly flicker to life, crossing to and fro in front of the broken windows. The castle's dead have awakened to their new life as shades. Whoa, is that confirming my guess? That shades are people?
You have anything to say about that?
It was freaky. I don't know.
Hopefully there will be no labyrinth next time.
I hear that.
Yeah, girl. Okay, let me just freaking go save real quick. I wonder if there was like a for sure path that you were supposed to take to get out of there. Heck if I know. It was like playing a dungeon crawler, but I couldn't see anything. I'm like, oh, I guess I'll go east, and then I'll go north, and then I'll go, I guess, east. All right. Is there anything over here? No? Okay. Hello, sir.
And another victim. This work certainly is trying.
Oh, Lord. Okay, yep, let's go.
I figured a book like you would be into all this word stuff, Vice.
Even I have my exceptions. Now let's be off.
He acts like these dreams are, like, not abnormal. A colony of massive sculptures was visible in the distance, their tall forms scraping against the sky. Vice and Darkselia had never seen such a sight, and their eyes widened as they tried to take it in.
Those buildings must be huge if we can see them from this far away. What do you think, Vice?
As Vice considered his answer, the sun beat down on them with renewed ferocity.
Perhaps they are some manner of mirage.
He said. Under this heat, a mirage or two would hardly be an unexpected sight. Darkselia nodded and wiped the sweat off his brow, leaving a trail of sand in its place. He thought he'd never been so thirsty. The ancient road on which they walked was black and cracked with age. Here and there, thin wisps of grass pushed up through the rocky surface, as if defying those who had laid this material down over their home. The heat reflected from the road made Darkselia lightheaded. His feet hurting, he crouched down to rest. I don't know how much longer I can do this. Is someone playing a joke on us, or what? The complaining had already begun. Vice tried not to let his eyes roll too much. A joke, he said. No joke. This road leads to the city of Oz. Art? Perhaps the path itself is simply some manner of grand artistic work. You don't sound very sure of yourself there. Perhaps not, but thinking of it in this way might make it easier for you to bear. Darkselia glanced at Vice's grinning face, shook his head, and resumed walking. As time passed, Darkselia's feet grew more painful, and his throat drier than he thought possible. He tried not to look further than the next step ahead, because the bright sunlight made him hesitant to trust his own senses. We are definitely getting closer, said Vice, in an effort to cheer his companion. Yes, this much is certain. Encouraged, Darkselia lifted his gaze. Suddenly, he stopped walking, choosing instead to stand in the middle of the road with his mouth and eyes wide open and his finger pointing in the distance. Water! He cried. It's water! Water? Asked Vice. Preposterous! I don't see any water. Over there, just ahead of us. Look, the sun is reflecting off it. Hallucinations! Without waiting for a response, Darkselia sprang to life and bounded toward the site. What in the... There was no water. What in the... Sorry. There was nothing but sand in every direction. Darkselia closed his eyes and sighed as Vice floated up behind him and chuckled softly. I believe this is known as a mirage, he said. Many a desert traveler has spoken of such things. Darkselia shook his head, bewildered. Suddenly he pointed off in the distance, his eyes wide once more. Wait, there it is! I just missed it! Look, it's right there! Darkselia sprinted off again, leaving Vice with no choice but to follow. After a few minutes of running, Darkselia came to a halt. Could have sworn it was right around here. Confused, he put his hands up to his eyes and rubbed them vigorously. As soon as he stopped, he noticed a blue shimmering pool of clear water just over the next rise. With a shout, he bounded off in search of it. The chase continued for nearly an hour until an exasperated Vice finally floated up to Darkselia and struck him in the face with his cover. Enough, you blithering idiot! Stop this at once! There is no water here! Darkselia's face clouded. There isn't... There is not, and perhaps next time you will listen to me when I tell you as much. Vice paused for a moment, then continued speaking in a slightly kinder tone. Is that possible for him? I don't know. However, I suppose this mad chase was not altogether wasted. Seems we have arrived in the City of Art. Darkselia looked up. Stretched out before him was a row of impossibly tall sculptures. Their journey was at an end. They're huge, cried Darkselia, completely forgetting the heat and pain of the past few hours. I've never seen anything so big. Each sculpture was formed from roughly the same shape, a tall rectangle that stretched up toward the sky, but that is where the similarities ended. Most were covered with panes of glass that reflected light in 1,000 directions, while others seemed to be nothing but frames of steel. Some had tall spires on their tops, while others possessed triangular caps. What kind of city is this? Said Darkselia. Where are the people? Where are the houses? Perhaps the land is intended exclusively for artistic use. The debate continued as they made their way through the city. Miracles of artistry were everywhere. Great iron crates with wheels set silent on steel rails, beautifully carved works with lights of red, amber, and green dangled over every street. As they moved away from the massive sculptures, they found a great array of smaller ones. Some were covered in glass or brick, but many were composed of materials they had never before encountered. The sheer variety of colors and styles was staggering. Unable to find a theme or purpose to the abstract works around them, Darkstelia and Vice eventually fell silent. On the outskirts of the city, they discovered 3 sculptures in the shapes of humans. Darkstelia uttered a sigh of relief as he approached them. Finally, I was getting tired of modern art. The 3 statues were indistinguishable except for a single word chiseled into their right arms. One read Alpha, one read Beta, and the final one read Gamma. As Darkstelia moved to touch the nearest statue, a bird flew from the top of one of the sculptures. Alighting on the statue's shoulder, it emitted a brief, beautiful song that took the form of words. Only one form is real, the others are false. The real form will always speak the truth. Oh man, Professor Layton has prepared me for this. The false ones will only speak lies. With that, the bird departed. As if on cue, the 3 statues shuddered to life, acquiring color and form as they began to breathe. Hey, look at that, said Darkstelia. They're alive. The triplets bowed low before Darkstelia. Please, said Alpha, you have to get me out of this nightmare. I am real. Stop lying, said Beta. He turned to Darkstelia and threw his hands in the air. Alpha's a fake, you know. I'm the real one. What a load of crap, said Gamma. Beta is a fake. Everyone knows I'm the only real one around here. Okay, hold on, let me think. Only one's lying and one is telling the truth. Okay, so I think Beta has to be telling the truth, right? Because if Alpha's lying, then that means that Beta's telling the truth, which means that Gamma is lying. So 2 are lying, one's telling the truth. If Gamma was telling the truth, then that would mean that Alpha is telling the truth. Then that means 2 people are telling the truth. Right? Liar and liar. Yeah, I think Beta's telling the truth. Their respective pleas given, the 3 statues returned to their frozen state as silence once again enveloped the city. When you consider all of the statements, only one of them can be the real thing, said Vice. Darkstelia furrowed his brows and considered his answer. Only one form is real, la la la. The real one is Beta. The real one is Beta. Though Darkstelia's voice betrayed a notable lack of confidence, he was relieved to see Vice nodding at him. Yeah, there we go! If Alpha were telling the truth, began Vice in the dry tones of a lecturer, Beta and Gamma would be fakes. But in that case, Gamma's claim that Beta is fake would be the truth, even though Gamma is a liar. Therefore, that theory crumbles. Now let us presume that Gamma spoke the truth. That makes Alpha and Beta liars. In this situation, however, Beta is calling Alpha a liar, which would leave us with 2 statues telling the truth. Finally, let us assume that Beta is telling the truth. If so, Alpha and Gamma's lies would make sense. Therefore, Beta must be real. As Vice finished his explanation, Alpha and Gamma crumbled soundlessly into dust, while Beta sprang to life once more. Congratulations, villager, said Vice in a cheerful tone. The time to awaken has arrived. I don't even remember what voice I gave him. Thank you for saving me, cried the villager. He dropped to his knees and bowed his head as low as it could go before an uncomfortable Darkstelia pulled him to his feet. Why did you have a dream like this? Asked Vice. Have you been to the city before? The villager slowly looked around at the bizarre objects and sculptures that dotted the landscape, then shook his head. I don't think so. I mean, it's impossible, right? There's no way I could have ever been to a place like this. But at the same time, I feel like I've seen it before. Deja vu, muttered Darkstelia, just like the mayor. The vague sense of unease that struck Darkstelia during the mayor's dream spread once more through his mind.
That was rough.
I am positive I have seen that place before.
Okay, that's enough. Don't need you getting all weird on me too. Okay, there. Now all the villagers can wake up, right?
Yes, if the mayor's assumption was correct. I think I have had enough wordplay to last a lifetime. Thank you very much.
You're telling me. Anyway, let's go see the mayor.
Hey, we did it! That was wild. I've never had a gameplay segment like that though, so hot damn, if I do say so myself. Alright. So I know this is kind of weird, but I'm going to make this a pretty short episode just because today's like my graduation day. I'm kind of doing celebratory foods and hanging with my friends. So this is a pretty short episode, but I'm going to go record another one right after this real quick so I can have one out tomorrow morning as well. But thank you guys so much for watching. It was so weird doing so many voices for this game in one episode because I'm used to not being able to do any, which is fine. I totally don't mind. But yeah, I'm excited to talk to the mayor and see what actually maybe is going on. I don't know. But yeah, as always, feel free to leave a like, comment, favorite, or subscribe, whatever you guys are feeling. And until the next time, lights off, dark out.